Consider this. The ocean is teeming with clues that allow scientists to interpret everything from your long-range weather forecast to the latest climate change affecting the Earth. Problem is, with COVID restrictions, oceanographers like Brad DeYoung haven't been able to get out there to study the ocean's latest hints of where this globe is headed.
It's really critical because we can't understand it by just staring at the ocean from the shoreline. We actually have to be in the ocean, at sea, making these measurements.
Do you feel like we're flying blind a little bit right now?
I feel like our glasses are very dirty, and they're getting dirtier as we speak.
Normally, there's a vast network of scientists on the water all over the world, monitoring our oceans with high-tech gadgets like this autonomous wave glider. It can track the endangered North Atlantic right whale, for example, find its food, inform big ships to steer clear to protect the near-extinct species.
This is one of our wave gliders.
But Anya Waite of the Ocean Frontier Institute in Halifax says the pandemic means fewer gliders, research trips canceled.
It's much harder to get ocean observations than it was before COVID. And the ships are holding fewer people. You have to be socially distanced. They're crewed fewer days of the year.
Now, if you figure all that measuring of waves, wind, and atmosphere doesn't affect you, think of your long-range forecast.
Every time you look at what temperature is going to be tomorrow and you see that nice hourly thing you can get, that app, that's ocean data. Right?
And for some companies, it is especially critical.
The petroleum industry and oil industry, they depend on good weather forecasting. And they also use a lot of ocean data to understand how their infrastructure is going to be interacting with the ocean over the course, the lifetime of that infrastructure. All those industries and government agencies, lobster fishers, lots of people use ocean data and they don't know they're using it.
All that technology out there emitting data, measuring waves and winds, how the ocean interacts with the atmosphere, many of it is run by batteries that have either died or are about to. Thousands of devices beaming back millions of bits of ocean data, informing the so-called blue economy, from companies ensuring shipping lines to fishermen relying on weather forecasts. They're all a little more in the dark these days. Emma Heslop is with the Global Ocean Observing System out of France.
So we see far fewer scientists being able to go on board, less science being done. So imagine things like El Nino, La Nina. This is a coupled ocean atmosphere phenomena, and it's vital to have ocean measurements for that in order to have any kind of prediction for wildfires in Australia and, what the impact will be sort of in the US and up into Canada on the west coast there.
Okay guys, deploy.
Case in point, this device, the Argo. It drops to the depths of the ocean, periodically coming to the surface to emit data to a satellite. But with scientists being kept on shore, unable to attend to them, their flow of data is down an estimated 10%. Even data from the marine life tagged with transmitters is down 50% because fewer of them are able to be tagged now. And some of the research will never be recovered. Remember that huge ice shelf collapse, the one in Canada's north? That's a moment scientists will never get back. What is lost when, for example, scientists, the eyes and ears of the scientist, are not there to witness and to explain something like an ice shelf collapse?
In a laboratory, I can redo an experiment, but you can't redo the ice shelf collapse experiment. So when we miss these opportunities to see what's happening, then we're losing understanding or just a recognition of the impact that climate change will have on the environment around us.
And then there's this year's hurricane season. Brad DeYoung's team was supposed to be flying a drone into those storms. COVID, he couldn't.
And of course, this year, we've seen 30 now named storms, the most ever on record. The key thing that we're losing then is the information about that, the formation of these hurricanes.
This German research cruise is back up and running, one of the few. Some COVID restrictions have been modified, but the work is still slowed. Emma Heslop says often you can get half the data for twice the cost.
Some networks, they lost the ability to observe perhaps 90% of their data. So I think that it's kind of a wake-up call as an observing system that we need to have build greater flexibility.
She says it could be a year or more before things really get back to normal, but fears a gaping hole in our true understanding of 2020 on the ocean could ultimately lead to a less complete picture of climate change. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.